Here we are again. Welcome, everyone. We're here on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. Yes, I know. I was gonna bring you more of this yesterday. Well, guess what? Things happen. Things happen. And I think I'm gonna start with a little commentary on that today before we get into chapter 2, because it ties into the you don't need to rush everything, you don't need to worry about being more or less than anyone, needing to catch up or maybe or even dissing other people by insinuating they need to catch up. I would say this last year was a very interesting one with the many lessons it brought, because one of them was one that really taught me that the patience with everything is fine. The feeling of, because how many of you have ever felt like, oh man, it's, I don't know, it's whatever day, it's summer solstice, or it is, oh man, it's certain planetary thing happening that people on social media are making a big deal about, eclipse, whatever it might be. But where in those earlier phases, it can be really easy to get caught up in, oh man, I should be doing something. I don't know what, but I should be doing something, because I bet this person and that person that I look up to are definitely doing something. I bet anybody who's anybody is doing something, because who wouldn't do something because of this solstice, this eclipse, this whatever. But I was looking through my journal recently, a few weeks back, and seeing an entry actually from a solstice a couple summers back. It would have been 20, I think it was 22, and it where I had even said something about feeling like I should do something because it was the solstice. And I don't know, I would have to go look at the entry again, but I think it might have been during a full or new moon, but I don't know. I could just be wanting it to sound extra cool, so I'm pretending that I thought that I read that. Anyhow, but I don't know, it was a little amusing, but it's cool, and that's another reason why you should be journaling all that you're doing within your practice, because I look back at that and it's great. It's cute, and it's wonderful to see, to see where I was then, where I am now, and I can only imagine how many more times that'll occur in life, and that's just one example of that. But thinking how kind of grateful I am for the way this last year unfolded, because what had begun as or what was gonna be a quick consecration of an item for a goddess, I thought was just gonna be this one quick little thing, unfolded into this about 8.5 month process of a few different rituals, and one thing I've realized that I was supposed to kind of learn from just the whole process of doing that was that the surrendering with and going with the flow, intuition, all of that. Because originally, as I kind of saw this was going to be maybe a lengthier thing, I had kind of looked into upcoming astrology, moon phases, to look for, auspicious times for some of these things I knew I would need to do. And kind of without fail, all of the ones I said, oh, yep, this is it, that didn't happen. And instead, just kind of when it was time, it happened. And then it would be kind of after the fact where I'd be realizing for maybe reasons I didn't quite see or understand at first as well, that this is actually a much more auspicious situation, and trusting that, and trusting the time it might take for things, because I've noticed too, on pretty significant things for me, I have about a year or so return, I suppose you could say. I have like a where I'll do something, whatever it might be, and even though sure I will see certain things relating to whatever that working might have been kind of occurring over the course of that year, I've noticed that it's kind of like almost really close to the date, even like almost like an anniversary, where just that I can just tell that, I don't know, you know how it is probably, and then maybe you don't, but I don't know, it if I could describe it, where it's just, because you'll kind of have, like I said, those little things, those maybe little synchronistic things that have been unfolding, that connect, or that put some little bits of things together in association with the working. However, for me, I've noticed when I get to that spot where it's like all of a sudden, it might be just one little synchronistic thing that's also a trigger, or it might be a couple, like bam, 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 real quick. But it's just like all of a sudden there's just like this whack, like something new clicks, something new locks in. I don't know, like it's like almost like the whole thing itself like locks in on a new level. And realistically, that's kind of the this is kind of the beginning of things, because that's same with what this whole situation, even though I just spent this whole year doing this thing, and even though right at the end of it I felt it lock in, shift, all that in a certain type of way, I imagine about a year from the time when that was completed, something will, oh boy, it's going to be fun. I know that much. How's everyone today? I hope you're all well. Thank you for listening to me rant for this first 9 or so minutes. Have some patience with yourself, because maybe it's just a talkative type of day, but I got a wonderful phone call from the homie Curve. A beautiful soul, he really is. If you haven't had a chance to get to know him a little bit, you should. It's nice that we can all get to know each other a little bit. Ain't that fun? Ain't that something? Because him and I, just like I had a wonderful conversation with Zero last week, and I don't, more of that synchronistic stuff, where it's interesting how we all have very similar things going on, but that are also unique to us in our own ways. just like the way we are going to interpret this book, just like the way we're enjoying this book and how I'm operating with this channel, all of this so far. Hopefully, it is something you're enjoying. Hopefully, you have liked, shared, and subscribed. If you haven't, please do so. So, one thing I had thought, real quick, and then I promise we're going to get into it, was that another thing why I was saying, hey, we only got to boost those numbers up by about, I think it's only like 11 more subscribers at this point. Boy, howdy, I'm growing up real fast with this. Oh boy, I don't want the computer to be slow, holding us all up. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, 11 more. Whatever, though. I'll do it this way. But one thing that would be fun that we can all still do, even if I get this book read, which I think I might also do the videos, at least uploading a chapter at a time, even though we'll see. You never know. I might upload them a few in a day. Who knows? It might be spaced out, but I'm going to try to rip through this. But it would be good to do in a live setting, I think, if we all got some of those art supplies and painted some of these things together. I mean, excuse me, even though I might be the only one to actually stream the video, but if everybody can be in the chat, but we could still kind of just all create it together. You guys can kind of see the way I'm doing it. If anyone knows of a way, or maybe we could even do something like that over like a Skype call or something. But I think that's important. I think it's important that we do that together. I was a little tired last time, so I was going to encourage that, but I was ready for bed. This time, however, I'm here. It's daytime. I'm ready to go. I was speaking with Curve earlier, like I was saying, and so I wanted to get going on this a little earlier. I'm not as wide and awake as I was. That's what I'm getting at, but that's okay. I'm fine. I'm good to go. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this next chapter, and you guys should be too, because Elemental Earth plus more knowledge. We're really about to get into some things I think that are going to help answer some questions you've maybe been wondering for a while. Alright, and bear with me for just a sec, because I swear I had figured out a way to get this to cooperate a little better. Happy Thursday, everyone. Or, of course, whenever this finds its way to you. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're treating yourself well. I hope you're treating others well. To borrow from the wonderful, wonderful Lon Milo Ducat. Hopefully that helps. Try to put a tiny bit of flex, more flex into the spine. Hopefully it will help. I know I can use these little arms too. Perfect. Well, I think that's gonna do it, and we better get going. Oh boy, if you don't have the PDF, well, grab it. It's going to be linked in the comments, because that's another thing. If you're not, whatever, verified and all that silly junk, then I can't put links such as that in the description. But I can in the comments, so it's in the comments. Okay. Let's get it rocking. Let's get it rolling. Does the light look okay? Wonderful. All right. Chapter 2. Elemental Earth plus more knowledge. To proceed, as you have found out, the symbol for the element of Earth is a square. Look about you on the physical plane, and you should see that all solid/final things have some degree of squareness about them. Look at all buildings, houses. They are, almost without exception, square. Very few are round. The only one I know of is a building in Hollywood. But even those with round or different shapes are based on a square base of some kind. The main quality of the element of Earth is that of solidity, stableness, inertia, at restness, and going to say at rest. Excuse me. In a sense, the square or cube represents truth, because no matter on which side you place it, it is the same in appearance and size and shape. In our daily lives, as far as we are concerned, the element of Earth is the one we have to deal with the most. The final arrangements of the Earth compounds of the elements as they become final on the physical plane is what constitutes the basis for our physical happiness, and therefore their manipulation is of prime importance in our lives. Let's reread that. In our daily lives, as far as we are concerned, the element of Earth is the one we have to deal with the most. The final arrangements of the Earth compounds of the elements as they become final on the physical plane is what constitutes the basis for our physical happiness, and therefore their manipulation is of prime importance in our lives. And if that isn't what the Magus has been saying as of late also. At this moment, I am considering the idea of carrying an actual square cube about 2 inch by 2 inch, or 3 inch by 3 inch, or maybe even 4 inch by 4 inch. Oh, goodness. Okay, let's see. I think it might help if I turn the lamp up one setting. Oh, goodness. Much love to you all. I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you for being here. I can't wait to do this so we can chat, because as of right now, it's still fun to do it this way, but it would be cool to see what some of you have to say about it, because it always is. I love seeing so many of the wonderful contributions that so very many of you make, and I'm looking forward to seeing which ones you'll make here. All right, so you're saying carrying a cube, 2x2, 3x3, 4x4 for you to finish in color, in addition to the previous flat two-dimensional symbol drawing you made. Oh, crud. Well, that'll do it. Oof. Top secret. Don't show them that. Okay. This cube might have a value for contemplation purposes. I will see how much demand there is for this additional symbol. I feel now that it would be some help to have all the symbols of the elements available in solid form and colored by you. The contemplation and handling of these solid form symbols should be of some help in furthering your comprehension and understanding of the nature and use of the elemental forces. But in the meanwhile, study the physical plane about you and let your consciousness absorb the sights of the squares in and on the physical plane. And do try to feel the qualities of Earth. In this case now, of the element of Earth, and in the cases of the other elements in your studies to come, you are to keep in your reasoning mind the clear distinction / idea that you are dealing with qualities, not physical actualities. I better highlight that one. Alright, in this case now of the element of Earth, and in the cases of the other elements, in your studies to come, you are to keep in your reasoning mind the clear distinction / idea that you are dealing with qualities, not physical actualities. Whoopsie. Oh, come on, sweetie. Help me out. I better watch a YouTube video on how to best operate one of these doohickeys here, huh? Alright. It is true, however, that as you learn and use / assimilate the qualities of the elements in all your dealings with the Earth physical plane, the designated qualities become quantities or actualities in your physical life experiences. And again, this becoming is the successful practice of magic, and there is nothing else to it. I better go 2 for the price of 1 on that one. It is true, however, that as you learn and use / assimilate the qualities of the elements in all your dealings with the Earth physical plane, the designated qualities become quantities or actualities in your physical life experiences. And again, this becoming is the successful practice of magic. And there is nothing else to it. To return then to the element of Earth for another going over, we will mention here now a few of the ramifications that we expect to go into deeper later on, but now we will make the first mention of them. There are 4 directions to this world. These 4 directions are also called the cardinal points, or the main turning points of the world. That is, each point is as far as one can go in that direction, and then one turns into another direction. Those of you who know astrology know of the 4 cardinal signs. Do some thinking about them. To consider these directions in a certain order, they are east, south, west, and north, excluding for this time Akasha, the elemental forces are assigned. East air, south fire, west water, and north earth. Akasha is, as was said before, the overall pervading one element from which they all come into and excuse me, come and into which they all go or return. You have, as you also know, 5 senses. These 5 senses are equated to the 5 elemental forces. There is a great profound truth here. Start meditation on it yourself and see what you come up with. Your senses are hearing, seeing, tasting, smelling, feeling, and it is through these senses alone that you contact/cognize the physical plane world. Do you know of any other way? All the forces and anything else you will encounter in or on this physical life plane/universe will be the elemental forces or combinations of elemental forces or the final physical plane frozen forces effects ending on the physical plane. All the forces you will encounter in any study of astrology will be a heretofore unrecognized alone or combination of the elemental forces. As said before, the direction north is attributed to the element of earth. And now, again, I must recall to you that we are not here speaking of the physical earth direction north, but of the metaphysical north direction, of which the actual earth direction north is the outer demi-counterpart. Remember, before when we spoke of the/a demi-world? Well, here is another example of it. The outer plane, half, demi-counterpart of the north elemental quarter of elemental earth is physical earth itself. Remember what you were told about the complementary colors and do a little review of these ideas. So I'm going to read that last bit right there one more time. Remember before when we spoke of the/a demi-world? Well, here is another example of it. The outer plane half, demi-counterpart of pretty sure that was just a typo right there. So the outer plane half, demi-counterpart of the north elemental quarter of elemental earth is physical earth itself. Remember what you were told about the complementary colors and do a little review of these ideas. I hope you are beginning to see that this physical plane might be only half of some other kind of a world plane. I say beginning to see for yourself as in none of my works do I want you I say beginning to see for yourself as in none of my works do I want you to accept any suggestion from me as being truth without your testing. The object of all my work is to guide you along the path so that you perceive the possible actuality for yourself and then use it not worship it or revere me or something like that. The object of all my work is to guide you along a path so that you perceive the possible actuality for yourself and then use it. Not worship it or revere me or something like that. Oh boy. Gee. Okie doke. Wonderful. In a sense, the north quarter of the element of earth is the womb from which comes all physical creations. The north elemental quarter is one then to which you can look for the fulfillment of your physical material desires. This will be brought out more fully later on when we take up the work on the ritual. There is a little interesting side light here about the north quarter, which I will call to your attention in connection with the idea of inspiration creations. An artist's studio is constructed so that the light comes in from the north quarter of the sky. North light is always constant all day long, and thus the artist can paint in the same light all day long. All the light from the other quarters is variable during the day and cannot be depended upon. Thus, even in a very minor sense, people have discovered the creative assistive qualities of the elemental quarter of earth. And took up its use without knowing why, but you should be beginning to know why. And footnote, as an artist works under the north light, from which elemental quarter comes all physical creation, so preferably should all creative work be done under the light from the northern quarter. The artist works so that the light falls on his creation, so that the north light is working through him. If you are a creative worker, arrange your desk, if possible, so that your back is to the north, and the north light falling on your work, and hence flowing through you. If you will examine anything in life which you find satisfaction, you will find that the satisfaction comes from a correct use, application, correct, I'm going to redo that. If you will examine anything in life in which you find satisfaction, you will find that the satisfaction comes from a correct /use application of one or more of the elemental forces, singly or in combination. And, conversely true, you will find that anything in life that brings dissatisfaction comes from a wrong use on an elemental force. This is a pretty simple way of putting it, but basically it is true. You will also find, after prolonged study, that all diseases are caused by a disarrangement of the elemental forces. Some of these underlines were one of the previous owners, like I had mentioned before. So we'll see. Maybe they gave us some good juice. what was it in? Did we just read that in Mystical Kabbalah, or was that in Dion's other book? Or was that in Applied Magic? But we just barely read that in another book too. Although it is not so simple as all that, just keep it in mind. Don't depend on this idea for any cure or treatment for disease, but your further study will show that different medicines are directly allied with the elemental forces or ruled, as the old way of expression has it. It is the qualities of the elemental forces embodied in different/certain medicines and or treatments that being about the/a cure or adjustment of the balance of the elemental forces to each other that are the cure. I'm pretty sure that was supposed to be bring about. Very interesting. Very, very interesting on that one there. Adjustment of the balance of the elemental forces to each other that are the cure. Curve. Remember our phone call just barely? Of course you do. But again, I say do not depend on this fact for any form of self-treatment for yourself and others. All scientific search and research in medicine is proceeding along its allotted path, and is not necessary for the scientist to know about the elemental forces to do this work. Let's see, I think we still have a few more. Second one here was a little long too. But let's just make so sure. Okay, that's what I thought. Page. Okay. Nah, easy peasy. We can knock that out. Hopefully I can do it before nature calls, but I might possibly need to get up. That's all right. You know how it is. Well, you gotta go, and we gotta go further into all of this. They are not interested in the occult, but you can view both sides of the subject, the inner and the outer. That is, I think that's important because I think we're gonna, I don't know. We'll see for sure. I think you need to be careful mixing in some of that stuff. But I do think there's definitely a potential for even further progress, I think, as human beings, for just in general, if we can kind of find a good way to remix in some of that kind of metaphysical type knowledge, such as Ophiel is speaking about here. We will soon be about ready to proceed to the next elemental force, that of water. Not that we have even scratched the surface of the subject of earth, nor will we, as said aforetime, even reach the end knowledge of any one element. There are a million universes of knowledge yet before us, and we will never reach the end. Ain't that the truth? There are a million universes of knowledge yet before us, and we will never reach the end. I'm trying to be good about going and highlighting, because it's important for me. It's important for you. But like in that first one, I probably should have stopped to highlight a few times, but well, I mean, I was a little tired, and also I kind of just felt like I wanted to, I don't know, hurry and rush. Why do we do those things to ourselves? Why do we tell ourselves, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, we gotta, it's that damn urge. You, man, woman, are really a fourfold creature. At least your body is. You have all the elements encased in you. Akasha is also present, but remember, Akasha is different. And they are encased in you in a certain manner or balance. And if you succeed in keeping your forces in balance, you can lead a very carefree, successful life. But if you let the forces get out of control, you are in for trouble in one way or another. For example, suppose you are proceeding along life's pathway calmly. All elemental forces are in balance and working nicely against each other. Then suddenly, you see something you desire. A strong desire comes over you for something. Now here is where you come in. You can calm down that new desire, or you can encourage it. If you calm it down, then the situation returns to normal, and the elemental forces return to harmony, balance with each other. But if you yield and grasp onto that desire and encourage it, then you throw your influence into that elemental force, which in this case is fire expansion. And you thus cause this one elemental force to grow larger than the others. Present, and this growth does affect the whole situation in the life body of the/a person, man or woman. I trust you will give the above ideas some personal meditation and some personal contemplation, thought as contemplation thought as the simple appearing process outlined above. I think it would have been better to say contemplative thought, but whatever, what do I know? Ophiel even said, whatever. Sorry, Ophiel. I trust you will give the above ideas some personal meditation and some personal contemplation thought, as the simple appearing process outlined above is the basis for all the affairs of life, your life, and is behind everything on the physical plane. I spoke earlier in this book about a ritual which would be given to you at a later point in your work, and it will be the object of this ritual to help you balance the 4 elemental forces in you. I guess at this point, I'll part here with a big, fat, juicy occult secret. Oh, a real hummer. You would never get this from an occult secret society as the ones who would happen to have it now. And they are few in number indeed, would tie it all up with all kinds of oaths, so you could hardly sleep for fear of blurting it out in your sleep talking. Oh, crud. Boy, let me tell you guys, goodness, I have blurted out a few juicy secrets of the mysteries in my sleep, and to this great occult secret into a proper setting, it is necessary for me to refer back to an old legend, myth, story of ancient Greece. Oh, crud. My headphone fell, and if I bump it wrong, I'll stop this whole video, and then I'll have to stitch it, and we don't want that. All right. Nice. Okay. Very cool. Hopefully that didn't affect the audio. All right, anyway, where were we? Occult secret, yeah, give it up. All right, to get this great occult secret into a proper setting, it is necessary for me to refer back to an old legend, myth story of ancient Greece, the myth of Oedipus and the Sphinx. The myth says that near an ancient city in Greece, a monster called a Sphinx sat beside a road. To all who passed by the Sphinx proposed a riddle. To all who passed by the Sphinx proposed a riddle, and all those who could not answer the riddle it ate up or destroyed. The hero Oedipus came by on the road and was stopped by the Sphinx and presented with the riddle. How many of you know what the Sphinx really symbolizes or means? Not what some person who needs to probably get back on their medication told you it means on their TikTok reel. The real symbology behind the Sphinx. Well, I'm pretty sure Ophiel's going to go into it here, but if not, well, you hold tight. Now, according to our present books on mythology, the riddle was supposed to be what goes on 4 feet in the morning, goes on 2 feet at noon, and goes on 3 feet in the afternoon. The hero's answer was a man. Sweet book stand. Okie dokie. The hero's answer was man. As an infant in the morning of his life, he crawls about on all fours. As a man in the noon of his life, he walks about on 2 feet. And as an old man in the afternoon of his life, he walks with a cane in his 2 feet. The Sphinx, thus faced with the true answer, killed itself by leaping over a cliff. Although the above is not the real, true, deep inner meaning of the story, there is a great deal of truth illustrated here. The key to the inner meaning of this mystery story is the nature of the creature called the Sphinx. What is/was it? You have all seen pictures or statues of Sphinx. There are, however, quite a few different forms of them. They are present in different art forms at all times throughout the ages. Most prominent, the most prominent and famous is the Great Sphinx of Egypt, and probably the one we are most familiar with, right? Because of those TikTok reels, those, boy. It makes you really, where do people even come up with some of this stuff? That's what I want to know. You see, the other person, that I'm assuming that is a pen from the other owner. Oh, careful with that bump there, Sweet J. Okay. The Egyptian Sphinx, as are all Sphinx, is a composite animal. Although this is not so easily apparent by looking at it. A Sphinx has a head of a man, the wings of an eagle, the body of a lion, and the tail and feet of a bull. Do you recognize these things? Anybody already know about that? Know what those are going to be? Zodiacal. Those are going to be some zodiacal symbols. Do you recognize any of these things? Are they not the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac? Man, Aquarius, Bull, Taurus, Eagle, Scorpio, Lion, Leo. Because for those of you who didn't know, Scorpio used to be symbolized by an eagle. Are they also not Man, Aquarius, Air, Bull, Taurus, Earth, Eagle, Scorpio, Water? And Lion, Leo, Fire. Is it not true, as I have said, that these are the forces that make up the physical earth plane? Therefore, is it too much to ask you to accept the idea that the slash a sphinx is an occult symbol of the physical earth plane? Womp womp. Oh man, you mean it's not aliens? You mean it's never been aliens? I don't know, maybe it's aliens. Aliens, if it's you, holler at your boy. I would love to open up a dialogue with the good guy aliens, of course, not the bad guy aliens. Oh, no, 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 not good guy aliens. Give me a call. Therefore, oh, we already read that one. Indeed, from what you already know about the elemental forces and their manifestations, how could it be anything else? And the true meaning of the legend is, when Oedipus, you, solves the riddle of the Sphinx had to go away, destroy itself. And so when you resolve the riddle of the physical plane existence, master it, it is then destroyed as far as it has further power to harm you. I'm just gonna do little stars by that one because he already put it in a different font, so hopefully that looks stars enough. Oh man, Ophiel, you're giving the TikTokers too much juice, bro. Now they're just gonna go say this stuff to their big following of people. No, they won't, because they won't. Why would they listen to this? I'm just some small time person. Why would they listen to that? Now, let's continue. In passing, I also want to call your attention to another form of the Sphinx, or another symbol animal, which also represents the physical plane. This animal is the winged bull of the Assyrian religion origin. If you have never seen this symbol, look it up in an encyclopedia. The only difference between the Assyrian winged bull and the Greek Sphinx is that the body of the winged bull symbol animal has a bull's body in place of the Sphinx's lion body. Weird, I just had some deja vu. Also, so Trav, in response to that question I had asked about a Western Ganesha, the closest I could find, at least, I don't know, for the easy parts of the internet, I didn't really care to go way too crazy deep. Plus, it didn't really, I don't know, about Janus of the Roman god, or pantheon, the Roman god Janus, and then that was kind of it. I do know, as far as like the Goetic demonology, Belial, people do say, is, you know, kind of a remover of obstacles, all of that. But you know, I'm kind of meaning more in that sense of god, goddess. You know, no offense to all the lovely angels and demons I have in my life. Something though, the lovely goddess, one of my very favorites, Hecate. Even though I wouldn't say that a whole bunch of the like symbology transfers over, at least in terms of the things Ganesha can do. It seems like, I don't know from personal working experience, but in not only teaching you to remove obstacles, because she's not only the goddess of the crossroads, but just kind of threshold in general, keys, doorways, all of that. Plus a crossroad, you know, so symbols of crosses, big time with her. Plus she just She does it all, man. For all those of you out there who haven't yet explored the goddess Hecate, however you like to say it, I'm not sure any of us know, because in ancient Greece it wasn't even said like that. In fact, I heard one like actual Greek person who studied, I don't remember what they did exactly, but I know they studied for school and all of that into actual Greek history. Plus they also did, I'm pretty sure, some type of witchcraft with Hecate, and they said it would actually, like, the H wouldn't even be really said, it would be more like Ekat. I hope that gave you a little chuckle. Ekat. That's what they said. But if you see the spelling sometimes for it too, it is spelled with the, I can't think of what it's called when the A and the E are together, and then like Kati. Go look, like if you look in the papyri, I'm pretty sure, and like, or Orphic hymns, you'll find that spelling there, sweet friends. And shout out to Hecate, for real, goddess. Thank you for all you've done for me within this life. She's wonderful. Just check her out if you haven't. Okay, enough plugging for the goddess. Here we go. We must continue. But and it's making me think of this too, because within her Orphic hymn, it says, let's see, what is it? Riding pulled by a chariot of bulls, something along those lines. You are the queen, yeah, carried by a chariot of bulls. You are the queen who holds the keys to all the cosmos. Boom, boom, boom. Shout out. There were always a few people in live existence who had some pretty sound ideas as to what was true about physical existence. These men, ancient and modern, most of them high priests of the ancient religions and other higher-ups, were not able to convey this higher type of insight knowledge to the masses due to the widespread ignorance of the masses. Therefore, they embodied many basic truths in stories, fables, and symbols, and set these before the masses, watching for those who would be aroused. Right. Whose attention would be attracted by some flash that these people would show during the ordinary course of standard worship. It's almost gone, but that's all right. We're about to be done with this chapter anyhow. Such as an intelligent asking of questions of the priests, which would show to the priest that an insight penetration had occurred to the person. When this happened, the person would be admitted to higher information. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, better stay focused on this for now. Also, among most all ancient religions, there were annual plays or pageants in which the mythological stories of these gods and goddesses were acted out and viewed by large crowds of ordinary worshippers. Then there were advanced plays, which were shown only to partly initiated students, such as the Eleusinian Mysteries, held for many centuries in ancient Greece. I have a fair idea of what went on there, and it may be possible for these plays to be revived in the aforementioned lodge on the St. Croix River in Wisconsin. I haven't looked into yet whatever became of that, if anything. I think Trav might have mentioned at one point when reading these two something about looking into it. But that would be cool. That would be really fun. I've often thought just how fun that kind of specific thing or other similar type things from ancient Greece, since that's what I'm most familiar with when it comes to those ancient worlds and pantheons. But I wouldn't call myself an expert on any of them by any means. But the Greeks and their drunken, entheogenic explorations of the mysteries, I think it would have been a lot of fun. Some of the other things those ancient Greeks had going for them, not so much. Let's see, here we are, in these mystery plays and pageants. The same general type of symbols, such as you have dealt with so far and are going to deal with in the future, were presented to the view of the people, and those who got the message went up higher. However, all the above material concerned the one thing, only the knowledge of the elemental forces and their relationships. All the gods and goddesses are forces personified. They already underlined, but we better get highlighting in there if we don't drop it first. And Manly P. Hall said the same. There are a lot of typos in these Ophiel books, I've noticed too, and even in the PDFs. Like, will try to go into this god and goddess. Maybe it was supposed to be we will try to go into this god and goddess idea more later, but if I don't do it in this book, I'll surely handle it in a later book. When, later on, you come into closer contact with these symbol form gods and goddesses, you are not to make the mistake of worshiping them, nor are you to entertain the idea of depending on them for interfering, helping, assistance in your physical affairs on this daily life. I'll go ahead and highlight that too. When later on you come into closer contact with the symbol form gods and goddesses, you are not to make the mistake of worshiping them, nor are you to entertain the idea of depending on them for interfering, helping, assistance in your physical affairs on this daily life. Yeah, it's all right. If anyone says they didn't have any kind of approach it, even on some level like that, I don't believe them. Because even if you weren't right away, like, I know I can say, even if right away I hadn't been doing the, like, I mean, sure, I wanted like my debts cleared up and things like that, but I wasn't so worried about, like, oh, make me rich, get me the fun things in life. Not really. I was kind of more just like wanting to use this for growth. That's kind of how I came into it, but that's a whole entire other story. But yeah, I'd kind of found my way to all of this because I'd already had some come to Jesus type things in life, and I already decided I was kind of committed to trying to better my life, and heal things in life that needed to be, all of that. So look at where it leads you. It leads you into books where kooks going under pseudonyms of spirits are talking about balancing the elemental stuff in your life instead of saying you're just lazy. You're just lazy, bro. You need to just hit the gym. You need to just I don't know, whatever some of these kooks are out here saying. Whatever, we're all kooks, right? Whatever kookiness resonates with you, I suppose. Oh, there's that word again. Be careful with that one. All right. They do not have any power that way per se, i.e., in and by themselves alone. The only power they could have to help you is the power you build up in them yourself, a power you generate and store in them yourself. Naturally, you are interested in the idea of assistance, but as we are herein engaged in a systematic building up of study knowledge of the occult, I don't know at this time if I can handle that aspect in this book or work it in another later place. I will try, but if I have to put it in another more advanced book, I will. In the first book I wrote, I first encountered this peculiar situation in which some interesting sideline or advanced material would come up, and I would wonder if I should include it now at that point or wait until later when more advanced material would be understood better. It was and is quite a problem, and I am afraid in my first book I left out some later material that I had promised earlier. Other authors probably do this, but don't tell you about it. Yeah, I can imagine so. I can definitely imagine so, but yeah, because even if you're not asking these gods and goddesses, make me rich, yada yada, but you're still wanting them to, I don't know, help me fix my depression, all of that, yada yada. If you're putting, well, if he says right here, which I was about to come back to highlight anyway, the only power they could have to help you is the power you build up in them yourself, a power you generate and store in them yourself. So if you decide that that's what they're going to be able to do, and so then you are praying to them, connecting to them, asking in those regards, and you've already built up that, and you've already built up that power into them, then they are, you could say, kind of sort of serving their function. However, I don't know. Well, I can't say for sure on that one. If that would then create, well, I don't know if I guess I should say if it would kind of mess with that, I don't know, God or goddess's ability further, because I don't know if you've kind of decided that their power or ability is to help you fix your depression and anxiety, for an example, and then if that's fixed, have you now, like, do you have to now reassign that power? This is a good question for the dear sweet Magus. No, I know there's a few of you who have been following along. Thanks again. Who might also have the answer to this. So, therefore, therefore, well, I don't know. I hope whoever is listening is following along. I know that might have been a little clunky. So basically, yeah, if you aren't so much asking them to, dear Lord, get me what is that Eminem lyric? Something about a brand new car with a wife and a prostitute, or you're asking the Lord for all of that silly crud, and you've decided that, I don't know, the Lord, especially because where there's that more influence. So that's for something you got to be careful about too. So sorry. So I know I kind of zigzag at times, but with the even though you can decide that the Lord has the power to do that, especially something like the Christian God that has so many people, kind of deciding what that being can and can't do, what its powers are, all of that. Where that might be a little different ball game than like if you kind of decide that what, I don't know, a more distant god or goddess, that you're gonna call up Freya for what, for whatever, for that anxiety depression thing, and that in your mind you've decided that like goddess is the goddess to do that is Freya, but you haven't really given any additional stuff to that. And even though she is going to have some other stuff there from her traditional pantheon, and even from newer practitioners, if you've kind of just assigned that one purpose to that being, then if that purpose is accomplished, then is it bye being? Is it here's a new purpose? Is it... Let me know in the chat. Let's finish this dang chapter. The Sphinx, then, is a symbol god of the physical plane. The Sphinx, that is, the one I have described to you so far. Each plane, as you ascend from this physical plane, will have a Sphinx of its own, as you can readily understand that all the planes of the physical cosmos consist of the 5 elemental forces, each force ruling or dominant on its own plane. Akasha is different, as I said before. Theoretically, the appearance of the/a Sphinx should be different on each plane, as each plane is ruled by one of the elemental forces alone, naturally. However, here is... Oh, Curve, I know you're just gonna be loving this so much. Hopefully you were able to get into this quickly after our phone call. But it's all right, bro. I know we've all got stuff going on, so I know. No matter what, though, whenever you dig into this, even if it's not right away, it's gonna still be, you're gonna be like, oh man, oh boy. Oh, I love you all so much. This is fun. This is really fun. I've done some fun things in life, but certainly I think this takes the cake, being able to connect with people over such circumstances and dealings as these. Alright, so another piece of occult knowledge. Each elemental force consists of itself, plus a certain proportion of each of the others in combination. Yep, we're about to dig in for sure with this book, and the following one too. And going hand in hand for any of you who are taking Trav's elemental course right now. Well, just boosted you guys up. If any of you want to pay for my elemental course, I'm kind of broke right now. I don't really have any money, but I'm sure that this would really spice it up a whole lot once we complete these couple Ophiel books. Therefore, you can readily understand that the construction appearance of the/a symbol Sphinx will be different on each plane, and also on each subplane, the appearance of the Sphinx gives the clue to the meaning and function of that plane. All right, I'm going to ponder this when I'm finished. I'm going to finish reading first. In my book, The Art and Practice of Astral Projection, the 4th method given, the symbolic method, is a method of reaching these above described planes. I suggest you study this method, but don't attempt more work for the time being than is given there for now. I will call your attention to 4 books here to advise you that you probably should have these 4 books in your possession for future study and research. The 4 books are The Golden Dawn in 4 volumes by Israel Regardie. We were informed in 1966 that the books were to be reprinted. These books are valuable after you catch up with them. If you keep advancing along the occult lines, you will need them eventually, so I suggest you plan to get them when available. There are more detailed instructions in these books about the symbol method and its results. I had intended here, at this point, to give a few more mechanical details regarding the elemental forces and their constructions, but I find some of my research books are missing, and so it will have to be postponed for now. Therefore, we will move into the next elemental force to be studied. That's funny, even, man, nothing new under the sun, huh? Because I come in here talking about, oh, yeah, well, I know I said I was going to do this, but here's how it happened. And, sometimes life just lifes at you, and that's all right. But even Ophiel here is saying, oh, I was going to put it in this chapter, but crud, I don't know where my research books are. So I'm going to end the chapter here, go figure out about my research books, come back to it. The next elemental force to be studied is going to be the elemental force of water. As soon as a little more... I better move that old camera over there. As soon as a little more beginning material is presented and studied. I have herein, so far, referred to the 5 elemental forces as ether, air, fire, water, and earth. I want you now to learn the Hindu names for these elements. Ether is Akash, as you know. Air is Vayu. Fire is Tejas. Water is Apas. And earth is Prithivi. From now on, we will use these names more or less interchangeably, so learn them. Another name for these elemental forces is Tattvas. I will also here part with another occult secret. All the above-mentioned Tattvas are together collectively known as Prana. Prana is the 5 elemental forces in operation. Prana is also the demigod or demiurgos. The above contains plenty of material for your meditation and for a long time. Yep. All right, congratulations, everybody. Looks like we got a little over an hour, coming up on an hour and 20 minutes, but now we are two chapters into this fun book. Yeah, when I got this one, as I said before, I was kind of just deciding I wanted to read some books on here so that we have another place to get together and read books and discuss them, and just life and our practices and whatever else. I don't care if one of you wants to tell me about, I don't know, your favorite food. I don't care. We can chat. I don't care. Let's chat. That's part of being human beings, right? So when I first got this, though, I just did it because I originally was planning to, when I was thinking, like, what's the first book going to be I would read, I was thinking of a couple others initially, which I definitely still plan to read those. But, yeah, then I was going through the Ophiel Trav did. He had the couple he didn't do. Ophiel, who is a pretty communicative spirit, especially when you're getting into his books, said, hey, why don't you just read those 2 first? So I ordered this one and didn't really look at it too much, kind of like a quick skim, but kind of wanted to save it so that we could kind of all be pleasantly surprised together. And it's very interesting so far, the way this seems to be really going along pretty well. With what else is going on within some of our occult friends' groups, classes. Check out Travis Magus' Elemental course right now. Check out My Gnosis and his Sunday Occult School. Sunday School, Occult Book Study. Right now, we're doing the, oh crud, what is it? Mastering Your Mind, right? That's what it was called. I'm on my way, bro. I'm on my way. I'm gonna plug you. I'm gonna plug you right. Even though pretty much all you are coming from there anyway. Alright, well, something, computer. Don't do me like that. Alright, you guys. So here's what I'm thinking. You guys. Like I said, one chapter. I think maybe one chapter at a time would be best. Not really to drag it out, but just I think it might be better as far as uploading it that way goes. And for everybody listening, all of that. At first I thought Trav did it that way. I said I might as well just hop right on in live and just straight shot him through. But no. Okay. Enough of all that. Love you all. I think I am going to have to check on just a couple things, but I was planning to just probably get ripping right into chapter 3, so hopefully I'll have that up for you in a little while. Much love. Be sure to like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to tell the people in your life you love them. Tell God you love God. Okay. See you for chapter 3. Bye.